Good morning. This is Jamie with That's Incredible. Take two. I got through the other video and went to make the last card and realized that I was not recording. So, see, I've already made the samples twice. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start over. And we are going to start with, this is our last card, okay? We are going to go ahead and start with this black on black card, okay? So here we have all of our pieces. This cardstock is shimmery white. I don't know if you can really see that if I angle it, but it is the shimmer white cardstock from the catalog, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So first we're going to start off and set my card base and my copper brushed metallic cardstock over here to the side. And I'm going to take this piece over to the side. And now I have already done all of your embossing, but this piece that has the gold trees on it is not cut to size, okay? So I'm going to get my paper ready with my anti-static tool, powder, again. And I'm going to grab my set of trees, and we are using this set Winter Woods for all three of our cards today. This is my mask for one of the cards. And I'm going to go ahead and ink up my trees with the embossing ink, Versamark ink. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to press evenly. Okay. And that is a clear sticky ink. Go ahead and grab my coffee filter to catch all my extra embossing powder, and I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle and then tap off the excess. Okay, that looks pretty good. Go ahead and pour that back in. I guess sometimes in life we just get a do-over. Okay? And I'm not going to quite emboss that yet because I have to turn my heat gun on anyway to do the silver embossing. So I'm going to take that off and I'm going to add this tree to my block, and I'm going to take this piece of cardstock, black, and I'm going to get it ready with my anti-static tool. And I'm going to take, just set that aside right there, my Versamark ink, and I'm going to get that all nice and inked up, and go ahead and stamp that down. And I'm going to be using the silver embossing powder for this one. And go ahead and scoop that on there, just like that. Now with the embossing, notice how I've caught the edge of my tree right there. I'm just going to take this paintbrush and dust it off. Now, you don't really have to do that because I will be fussy cutting this tree out, but that's just a little tip. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and heat up this silver powder and watch the magic happen. There we go. And then I'm going to grab this piece since my embossing tool is nice and hot. And I'm just going to emboss the trees. And I just love the way this looks on black cardstock. Just looks so pretty. Okay. So now I'm going to, while that cools, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this tree out. Now there is a die set for this stamp set, and I currently do not own it, but I will be ordering it this month. Because one thing that comes in the die set is not only this tree, but also the wave, the ground curve there. I just used and freehand cut it today, but it would be nice if I had that die where I could, you know, die cut the perfect little hill or snowy ground. Okay. And I did use the sparkly white, shimmer white cardstock from Stampin' Up! For that ground. I just like the subtle sparkle that it has when you hold it up to the light just right. I know it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it is really, really pretty. And if you want more shimmer, of course, you could always add some Wink of Stella to the ground, and that would give it a nice snowy ground. All right, so I'm just about done fussy cutting my tree. Sorry, Patty. Okay, and so this piece here, I'm going to dust it off, all that extra anti-static powder. Okay, it just wipes right off. Now I'm going to take, and I'm going to cut this piece down, and it's going to measure 3 3/4 by 5. So let's go ahead. I don't want the ground cut off. I want the sky. 3 3/4. Then I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to cut it at the 5-inch mark. There we are. Oh, that didn't quite cut all the way through. Let's try that again. There we are. And now we have that. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my shimmer white cardstock. That's not it. Here it is. And first I'm going to cut it at 5 inches. And then I'm going to cut my ground into it. And like I said, it's just freehand. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Oh, I'll trim this a little bit. Okay. So there's my ground. Now, here's the problem. It's coming up way too high here. So I'm just going to come out just a little farther and trim off that hill a little bit. There we go. That's better. Take a little bit of glue. I left my glue open too long. It does not want to come out. Go ahead and take my needle and put it in there. There we go. Now we're ready. All right, I'm just going to put glue along the bottom. And I'm going to lay that flat. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to take my copper, and the copper should measure 4 by 5 1/4. So I know mine's already at 4 inches, but I needed, like I said, I had done this card already pre-recording, and so I did my sample, and then I had to get all the pieces together again, so that's why I had to cut some more. Go ahead and put glue on the back of this. Okay. And flip that over and give it a good rub. There we go. And now I'm going to take my dimensionals and put them on the back of this tree. And this card does not have a sentiment, but you could certainly add one to the inside of your choosing. This could be a Christmas card or a thinking of you or just a happy birthday card. All right, so this one I did the snow dots. This one I did not do the snow dots. This one I'm going to do the snow dots because I just really like it. And I'm just using the Stampin' Up! Chalk marker. And I'm going to do tons of dots on the top. And then I'm going to let those kind of disperse, not so many towards the bottom. And I'm just going right over the top of my embossing. Okay. And I will let that dry. There we go. So now we have a nice little snowfall. Take my card base and I'm going to fold it in half. Your card base is not scored, but if you would like to, you could score it at 5.5 inches so that your card front measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to just go ahead and add my liquid glue to the back and line that right up in the center. And voila. So now we have 3 cards. You can decide which look you like best, snow or no snow. Okay, so that is the first of the 3 cards in our Hostess Club. And I'm still recording, so that's a bonus. The next card I'm going to show you is, this is the stamp set. This card, and here it is twice. Looks pretty good twice. And here are all the pieces for me to assemble again. Okay, so I'm going to take my card base and I'm just going to set it aside because I need to wrap my twine around it before I can glue it to the card base. So the first part, I'm just going to glue this Misty Moonlight to this white cardstock and just leaving a little bit of an edge, just like so. And then I'm going to take this piece here, and this is the piece I need to sponge on. Okay, so I'm just going to put my scratch paper underneath. First, I'm going to stamp this tree because it's already mounted, and I'm going to stamp that in Misty Moonlight. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of try and get some of that off the edge, because for whatever reason, I do catch the edge a lot with the top part of this tree. And I did wipe some of it off the edge, but now I'll go back and I'll just carefully ink up lightly. Okay, there we are. So hopefully I don't catch an edge again. And I'm going to stamp this down right about there. Give it a good press, try not to rock it, and there we are. That is the first of our trees. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this off, and I'm using the same block, and I'm going to put our tree group on there, and I'm using gray granite. Got plenty of ink, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to stamp it right about there. And while I have the gray granite ink out, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp the ground piece so that that part will be done since the ink is still out here. And this little piece here in the set, that just gives you a little bit of ground. And really you only see it on the edges. So, you know, you don't really need it all the way across. We will be using our gray granite again here momentarily, but I want to close it because I don't want to accidentally use it when sponging my background. Okay, so now I'm going to take my mask, and this mask has been used now 7 times, and I'm going to put it right about where I want the moon to be. And I'm going to take my Misty Moonlight, and I'm just going to start putting ink down around the moon. And then when I get to my big pine tree, I'm going to leave a little glow around the top because it just has that soft feel. Okay. Here we are. Sorry about the dogs. There you go. There we are. Oh, and there's dishes clanging. All right, so now I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to pull my mask off using the tip of my piercing tool, just like that. And voila, there we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and just take some of my liquid glue, put it on the back. Bring my card front back over here, and I'm going to just go ahead and stick that down. Now I have already used my Stitch So Sweetly dies, and I die cut a white piece on the shimmery white cardstock, and I emboss Thinking of You This Season in silver on a die cut piece. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this twine that is, oh, I can't remember the color. It's balmy blue or seaside spray. Maybe it's seaside spray. And white with silver. Okay. Go ahead and I'm just going to tie this in a knot. And this knot will hide behind my plaque, so nobody will see it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it just a little bit so it's more centered, so it will be under my plaque. And I want these to crisscross, so I'm going to go ahead and crisscross those over. Okay. And you can have them as crisscrossed as much as you'd like. Now I'm just going to take my Stampin' Dimensionals and I'm going to put one here and one here so that the twine can go in between there. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick that down. And then I'm going to take these last 3 dimensionals that I have in my hand, stuck to my fingers, and glue those down. And I'm going to go ahead and put those right there in the center, like so. And then I'm just going to take a few rhinestones and add some stars to the sky. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There we are. And there is the second card. All right. So I'm going to tidy up from that just a little bit and get ready to make my third and final card. Again, there we are. So here's the third card, and I've already scored it. So on the 10-inch side, this card base measures 10 inches across by 6 1/4. I scored it at 3 inches and then at 3 1/2. And on the 3-inch section, I'm going to take and cut out just a half circle there using my layering dies, just a random circle that I feel is like a good fit. All right, I am back, and for this one I used a scallop circle just because I thought it would be cute. And I'm going to go ahead and fold my card just like that, and I'm going to seal my pocket. Now this pocket could be for cash, a check, or a gift card or two. It's a pretty big pocket, so lots of room to fit whatever you need in there. There we go. So the pocket is done. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the pieces. Now this is that shimmer white cardstock. And I've already embossed it using the snowflake embossing folder. And it's just so pretty. I don't know if you can see the shimmer on that cardstock, but it's subtle, but it's so pretty. Go ahead and glue that down. Next up, I'm going to glue my silver piece down. And the silver is kind of funky. It's probably better if you put just glue in the middle because it kind of leaves an edge. Like you can see it through the paper, like you can see the glue marks. So I'm going to be covering that up anyway, so I'm going to set that up here, and I'm going to go ahead and with my gray granite and my scratch paper, I'm going to stamp trees across the shimmery white cardstock. So on my fall card I started on one side and I stamped across, but with this card I'm going to start in the middle, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add just a few trees on this side, and I'm going to add a few trees, and I'm only inking up part of the stamp on this side, and we're done. Just like that. Now I'm going to take my balmy blue. I don't have the Seaside sprayed ink pad. I think I need to get it. I don't know why I don't have it. And if I do have it, I couldn't find it. And I'm going to just take and sponge around the edge of this piece right here, just like that. Okay. Oh, I missed the whole edge there. Look at that. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and take some glue and put glue on the back of that. Bring my card here, and I'm just gonna have to trim a little of that off because my silver piece is, my white piece wasn't quite the right size, so it was supposed to be 2 inches and it was 2 1/4 inches, so I apologize if yours is cut wrong. I certainly hope it's not. Okay. And then now I have my circles here. And I gave everybody an extra circle in case you did not want to use the sending prayers sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is using the layering circling dies. I'm going to put one there and then one right on top of that. And let me see here. I have misplaced my mesh ribbon, and I did not have very much of that left. So I'll add my pearls and kind of look around my messy area here and see if my mesh ribbon will turn up. Oh, that's not going to get my pearls. Okay. So I put one in the center, and then I put one on each side of that. I just thought they were just so pretty. Okay. And I'm glad that I put that mesh ribbon thing off, because I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Go ahead and put my pin back in my glue so I don't have to fight that later. And this is literally all of the mesh ribbon I have left. This is it. So I'm going to tie myself a little bow. I just loved this ribbon so much that I can't believe that I totally used all of it. Halloween, winter, it's just so stinking cute. Okay, trim that off a little. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take a glue dot here. And I'm going to put it right here in the center. And I'm going to put my bow right there on it. Pull that out. And then I can fluff up my bow once it's glued down with this mesh ribbon. And there we go. That is the third and final card. Here's the original. Okay. What do you think? Aren't they just so cute? Well, thank you for watching, and I want you to have an incredible day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.